Whatever life you desire for yourself, you have the ability to make it a reality. A manual for manifesting your universe. How to use the language of the universe to speak your reality into being. Introduction. You listen to the voice in your head and assume it's you thinking. But that voice? It's just a reflection of patterns, habits, and beliefs you absorbed along the way. The truth is, you are not your thoughts. You are the one observing them, the one who decides which to act on, which to ignore, and which to amplify. Every day, in ways you may not notice, you are sending signals into the field of reality. Every emotion, every repeated belief, every thought you dwell on, it's a transmission. And the universe responds, not to your words, but to the frequency you are broadcasting. In this audiobook, I'm going to show you how to stop leaving your life to chance. I'll teach you how to tune your inner state so it matches the reality you want to experience, how to align your thoughts, feelings, and actions to create a coherent signal the universe responds to, how to identify and dissolve the blocks, fears, doubts, and limiting beliefs that distort your signal, how to read the signs the universe sends you so you know when you're aligned and when you're off course, and ultimately, how to speak your reality into being consciously, intentionally, and consistently. This is not theory. This is a practical guide, a manual for anyone ready to stop leaving their life to chance and start creating it from the inside out. By the end of this journey, you will understand not only how the universe responds, but also how to become the source of your reality, fully aware, fully present, fully empowered. If you are ready to stop watching life happen to you and start consciously shaping it, turn the page, take a breath, and step into your role as a creator of your universe. Chapter 1. The field that connects all things. Everything you experience, every success, every struggle, every relationship, every coincidence is first created in the invisible field before it appears in the physical world. This is the first principle of conscious creation. There is an unseen fabric that connects all things. Some call it spirit. Modern science calls it the quantum field. I call it the space where your intentions take shape, the womb of your reality, the field where creation begins before it becomes matter. This field is not static. It is not random. It is alive, responsive, and intelligent. It is the medium through which your inner world becomes your outer world. Yet most people go through life completely unaware of the signals they are sending, believing that reality happens to them rather than through them. Every thought you hold, every feeling you dwell in, every assumption you carry, it is a signal sent into this field. And the field responds, not to the words you speak, but to the vibrational frequency you broadcast. Think of it this way. If you could see reality as a vast ocean of energy, every thought and feeling is like dropping a stone into that water. A single stone makes ripples. A steady stream of stones shapes currents. Over time, those currents organize into waves, shaping the form of the ocean itself. Your inner state, your habitual thoughts, and your dominant emotions are those stones. The ripples they create influence the shape of your life. A thought filled with fear sends out contraction, signaling limitation. The field responds by drawing circumstances that reinforce lack or tension. A thought steeped in doubt sends out mixed signals, creating uncertainty and confusion in your experience. A thought held with clarity focus, and belief broadcasts a strong, coherent signal that the field can respond to powerfully. In other words, manifestation is not about asking for something externally. It's about becoming the signal internally. When your inner frequency matches what you desire, the universe aligns, the energy arranges, and reality mirrors your state. This is why most people fail to manifest consistently. They focus on the object of desire, a relationship, a career, money, or status, while neglecting the vibrational alignment required to attract it. They ask the field to respond while broadcasting a different signal entirely. And the universe, precise and impartial, responds faithfully, just not in the way they expected. The field does not care about your words. It cares about coherence, clarity, and energetic alignment. Every emotion, every repeated belief, every quiet assumption is a message, and the sum total of those messages creates the blueprint for your reality. Here's the crucial point. You are already manifesting every moment of every day. The question is not whether manifestation is happening. The question is, are you doing it consciously? Or are you handing your creative power to unconscious patterns, to fear, to habit, to chance? Learning the language of the universe begins with understanding that your inner state is the signal and the outer world is the reflection. It begins with noticing what you are broadcasting, recognizing patterns, and choosing consciously what frequency you want to transmit. Consider this. Two people may desire the same outcome: a promotion, a partner, a life of abundance. One will receive it, the other will not. The difference is not luck, it is alignment. One person's internal state matches the desired reality, the other's does not. The universe cannot reward mere desire alone. It responds to coherence and resonance. In the rest of this audiobook, we will explore how the field operates, how your thoughts and emotions act as signals, and how to begin tuning your inner frequency so it matches the reality you want to experience. You will learn that manifestation is not magic. It is a precise process based on principles that you can observe, practice, and master. By the end of this book, you will have a clear understanding of the field that connects all things and how your inner world, when understood and aligned, can speak your reality into being. This is the foundation of conscious creation and the first step toward claiming the life you were born to live. Chapter 2. Becoming fluent in vibration. Fear as a signal. Fear is not the enemy of manifestation. It is a signal, a vibration, a message from your inner world that your energy is misaligned. Most people treat fear as a stop sign, something to suppress or avoid. But in reality, fear is a teacher, an indicator of where your vibration is out of coherence with your desires. Every fear you feel, every anxious thought you dwell on, every doubt that lingers, these are vibrational broadcasts. And the universe responds to them just as faithfully as it responds to hope, joy, or confidence. Fear is a frequency. It contracts your energy, tightens your focus, and organizes circumstances that mirror that state. When you are afraid of failure, rejection, or not having enough, your signal becomes fragmented. The universe does not see the content of your desire. It sees the energy you are radiating, and it responds accordingly. Here is the key truth. You cannot manifest your desires while broadcasting fear. Your vibration must be coherent, aligned, and expansive. This doesn't mean you ignore fear. It means you understand it, confront it, and consciously shift your signal. Understanding fear in the language of vibration. Fear often manifests in three ways. Fear of lack. I won't have enough. I'm not enough. I'll fail. This broadcasts contraction and draws circumstances that reinforce scarcity. Fear of change. If I step into this new life, I might lose control. This resistance creates inertia, delaying manifestation. Fear of judgment. What if I fail in front of others? This fear distorts the signal with self-doubt, weakening coherence. Each of these fears is a vibration your body, mind, and emotions are emitting, and each shapes the reality you experience. Shifting fear into alignment. The goal is not to eliminate fear. It is to convert fear into a conscious, aligned signal. Here's a simple framework. Acknowledge the fear. Pause and notice the fear. Name it. I am feeling fear of not being enough. Feel it fully. Allow yourself to feel the sensation in your body. Where is it located? What does it feel like? Fear carries energy that must be felt to be released. Ask, what is it teaching me? Fear is a pointer to misalignment. What belief or thought is creating this vibration? Identify it. Shift the signal. Consciously choose an aligned frequency. Courage, trust, confidence, or curiosity. Imagine stepping into the situation already successful, already safe, already abundant. Anchor the new state. Hold this aligned vibration through your breath, posture, and emotional focus. Repeat as necessary. Imagine you fear starting a new business. The fear of failure and financial loss is sending a low-frequency signal, creating stress and hesitation. By acknowledging the fear, understanding its source, and shifting into a state of confident competence, imagining yourself successfully running the business, your signal changes. You now broadcast alignment, and the universe begins to organize opportunities, ideas, and connections that resonate with that new frequency. The principal fear is a vibration, not a verdict. It is a signal that your current energy is not yet aligned with the reality you desire. By learning to detect it, decode it, and consciously shift it, you become fluent in the language of vibration. Manifestation is not about suppressing fear or pretending it doesn't exist. It is about understanding your energy, correcting misalignment, and consciously broadcasting the signal that draws your desired reality to you. Remember, the moment you align your vibration with your desire, courageously, consciously, and consistently, the field begins to respond. You are no longer at the mercy of chance. You are speaking the language of the universe. Chapter 3. The words you don't speak. The thoughts you think but never voice, the assumptions you carry silently, and the beliefs you never question. These are the words that are shaping your reality. Most people believe that manifestation begins with spoken desires or deliberate intentions. They repeat affirmations, write wish lists, or visualize outcomes, hoping that the universe will respond. But there is a deeper, more powerful language at work, the unspoken signals of your inner world. These are the words you don't speak, the thoughts you habitually entertain, and the assumptions you unconsciously hold. They are the invisible messages your vibration transmits into the field. Here's the key truth. The universe responds to the energy behind your thoughts, not the words themselves. You may say, I want abundance. But if internally you doubt, fear, or feel unworthy, your internal signal contradicts your words. The universe sees the contradiction and responds to the stronger, more consistent vibration, your unspoken frequency. Think of your inner world like a hidden orchestra. Every thought is a note, every emotion is a chord, and your habitual beliefs create the symphony that broadcasts into reality. If even one section of the orchestra is off key, fear, resentment, self-doubt, the entire performance becomes discordant. Your outer world reflects this disharmony. How unspoken words shape your reality assumptions, become blueprints. Everything you assume about life, yourself, and others carries energy. Assuming scarcity, rejection, or limitation shapes experiences that reinforce those beliefs. Your subconscious treats assumptions as commands. Beliefs emit frequencies. Every belief you hold, whether conscious or unconscious, is a vibrational pattern. Beliefs of lack, inadequacy, or fear produce low-frequency signals that attract matching circumstances. Beliefs of worth, capability, and abundance produce high-frequency signals that draw corresponding experiences. Internal dialogue directs creation. The conversations you have with yourself, often unnoticed, are shaping your world. Self-criticism, worry, and doubt are instructions to the field. Encouragement, curiosity, and trust are equally instructions, but in a constructive, coherent vibration. The challenge is that most people never notice these internal words. They allow habitual patterns, old conditioning, and fear-driven thoughts to broadcast unchecked, believing that outer circumstances are responsible for the results in their life. Listening to your inner words. Becoming fluent in this invisible language requires awareness and conscious adjustment. Here's a method to start. Observation without judgment. Pause and listen to your inner dialogue. Notice recurring thoughts, fears, and assumptions. Simply observe without labeling them good or bad. Awareness is the first step toward mastery. Identify the misaligned signals. Ask yourself which thoughts contradict the reality you desire. For example, if you want financial abundance but notice, "I'll never earn enough," you've identified a misaligned signal. Rewrite your internal script. Replace fear-based or limiting thoughts with coherent, aligned alternatives. For instance, shift "I'll never succeed" to "I am capable, prepared, and ready for opportunities." Speak to yourself internally as a creator, not a victim. Anchor through emotion. Words alone are not enough. They must be accompanied by feeling. Feel the certainty, confidence, or joy behind your new internal words. This aligns your vibration with your desire. Repeat and reinforce. The field responds to consistent signals. Make this exercise a daily practice, gently correcting misaligned thoughts as they arise. Over time, the unspoken words will become coherent instructions for your reality. The power of silent alignment. Consider a person who desires a loving relationship. They may consciously state their desire daily, yet internally feel unworthy, skeptical, or fearful. The unspoken thoughts, the doubts, and fears create the stronger, more persistent signal, which the universe mirrors in experiences of rejection or distance. By noticing these unspoken words, questioning their validity, and consciously rewriting the internal dialogue, the signal changes. Suddenly, opportunities, connections, and experiences begin to shift in alignment with the desire. The lesson is simple but profound. What you do not speak internally shapes your world more than what you actively request externally. Mastering the unspoken language of your mind is the next step toward fluent vibration, conscious creation, and the life you intend to manifest. By now, you should begin to notice the invisible words directing your life and understand how to consciously choose them. This sets the stage for Chapter 4, The Art of Alignment, where we will explore how to combine clarity, emotion, and identity into a coherent signal that consistently manifests your desires. Chapter 4: The Art of Alignment. Manifestation doesn't happen because you want something. It happens because you've become the version of you that already has it. That is the essence of alignment, not wishful thinking, not forced positivity. Alignment is the act of matching your state of being, your thoughts, emotions, and identity with the frequency of what you desire. Most people never realize this. They spend years trying to get things: more money, better relationships, recognition, peace. But all of those desires are reflections, not sources. They are mirrors showing you the state you are broadcasting. If your inner world and outer goals are in contradiction, the field cannot deliver coherence. It can only echo confusion. When you say, "I want abundance," yet live in the emotional tone of lack, you are out of tune with the reality you seek. The universe is not withholding it from you. You are simply tuned to a different station. So the real practice is not attracting your desires, but becoming the version of yourself for whom those desires are already natural. What alignment truly means. To align is to integrate, to bring your energy, thoughts, emotions, and identity into harmony with the desired reality. It is not about pretending something is true. It is about feeling into its truth until it becomes your baseline frequency. Think of yourself as an instrument. Every thought adjusts a string. Every emotion shifts your pitch. When your internal notes are tuned to fear, doubt, or neediness, the song you play to the universe sounds distorted. When you tune yourself to peace, gratitude, and expectancy, you begin to resonate perfectly with the frequency of your desire. Alignment, therefore, is not about striving. It is about removing resistance, the thoughts, fears, and assumptions that create static in your signal. The 3 levels of alignment. Let's simplify this process into 3 levels: mental alignment, clarity of thought. Your thoughts are the architecture of your reality. To align mentally means to consistently focus on what you desire rather than on its absence. It means catching thoughts of limitation. This is too hard. I never get what I want. And consciously redirecting them toward truth. I am becoming the person who naturally receives this. Clarity is power. Confusion divides your energy. Emotional alignment, feeling the frequency. Emotion is energy in motion. Your emotional tone is the broadcast that tells the field what reality to reflect back. To align emotionally is to generate the feeling of already having your desire. Don't wait for evidence to feel fulfilled. Feel fulfilled now, and the evidence will appear. This is not delusion. It's quantum causation. The field responds to emotion faster than it does to logic. Identity alignment, embodying the version of you who has it. This is the deepest level of transformation. Ask yourself, who am I when this desire is already fulfilled? What do I believe? How do I act? How do I speak to myself? Begin living from that version of you. Not someday, but today. When your self-concept shifts, the entire field rearranges to match it. Practical alignment practice. Here's a simple daily process to bring all 3 levels into harmony. Center yourself. Take a deep breath and bring awareness to your body. Feel your presence in this moment. Name your desire clearly. State what you are aligning with. Example: I am aligning with the vibration of financial freedom. Visualize the fulfillment. See the version of you living this reality. Where are you? How do you feel? What has changed? Generate the emotion. Don't just see it, feel it. Let gratitude, peace, or joy fill your chest. Anchor the identity. Speak as the version of you who already has it. This is my new normal. I am a match to abundance. Release the outcome. Don't force or chase. Let go and trust that the field has received your signal. Do this not as a ritual of begging, but as an act of remembering. You are not creating something new. You are returning to coherence with what already exists in another layer of reality. When alignment feels hard, sometimes alignment feels unnatural, especially when your external reality contradicts your internal vision. But that is where mastery is built. When you can hold the vibration of certainty, even while your senses show the opposite, you are training your consciousness to lead, not follow. Remember, the external is the echo. The internal is the cause. When you stay aligned internally long enough, the echo must change. The bridge to creation alignment is the bridge between thought and manifestation. Without it, your desires remain theoretical. With it, they become inevitable. Because alignment is not a technique. It is a state of being. It is how you become one with the frequency of your desired reality, until it has no choice but to reveal itself. Chapter 5. Reading the Signs of the Universe. The universe is not silent. It is speaking to you constantly, through patterns, whispers, and echoes that appear in the fabric of your everyday life. Every coincidence, every delay, every sudden alignment is a form of communication from the field. But most people never learn to read it. They dismiss the signs as accidents, coincidences, or luck, unaware that reality itself is a feedback loop, reflecting your state of consciousness back to you. When you begin to awaken to this truth, the world starts to shimmer with meaning. You notice the small things. A sentence overheard at the exact right moment. A song lyric that answers your question. A stranger who appears just when you're about to give up. These are not random. They are the ripples of your vibration, the universe's way of saying, I heard you. You see, the field that connects all things is responsive, intelligent, alive. It does not speak English or Sanskrit or any human tongue. Its language is resonance, vibration, meeting vibration. When your inner frequency shifts, the outer world must rearrange itself to stay in tune. So, when life begins to mirror new patterns, that's the field confirming. You are being heard. The mistake most people make is believing that the signs are something external, as if the universe were a separate entity sending them coded messages. But the truth is subtler. You are not in the universe. You are the universe, localized as consciousness. When the field mirrors you, it's not a cosmic voice speaking to you. It's your own vibration speaking through reality. The dream is reflecting the dreamer. To live at this level of awareness, you must cultivate perception without superstition. Not every bird that flies by is an omen. Not every delay is divine timing. But the pattern of repetition, the recurring symbol, the timing that aligns with your intention, these are the fingerprints of resonance. To decode them, you must quiet the mind's urge to control and simply observe. Reality will reveal itself if you stop trying to force interpretation. Start by noticing the rhythm of events in your day. When you are in alignment, calm, open, centered, things flow. Doors open easily. You meet the right people. Time stretches. When you are resistant, anxious, doubtful, self-critical, everything feels heavy. Calls go unanswered. Technology fails. Synchronicities fade. The universe is not punishing or rewarding you. It's calibrating you. It's showing you the signal you are sending out. To develop sensitivity, keep what I call a field journal. Write down moments that feel charged with meaning, the sudden insights, repeating numbers, the coincidences that defy logic. Do this not to chase signs, but to train awareness. As you track them, you'll begin to see that life moves in elegant geometry, spirals of meaning unfolding around your consciousness. The more you acknowledge the communication, the clearer it becomes. Attention is invitation. What you notice, you amplify. Still, discernment is essential. The ego loves to hijack this process, to claim every event as validation of its desires. It whispers, "That must mean I'm right. That must mean I'll get what I want." But the universe doesn't speak in promises of comfort. True guidance often leads you toward uncertainty, because that is where growth happens. When a path feels expansive but unfamiliar, that's the field stretching you into a higher frequency. When it feels constrictive and fear-based, that's ego holding on. So how do you tell them apart? Ego speaks in urgency. Hurry before it's too late. The universe speaks in calm clarity. You already know. Ego pushes. The universe pulls. Ego demands certainty. The universe invites trust. If you learn to sense the energetic texture behind each impulse, you will never be misled again. There will be times when signs contradict your plans. Something you wanted falls through. A door you were sure would open suddenly closes. Don't rush to label this as failure. Very often, rejection is redirection. A higher alignment being prepared behind the scenes. From the field's perspective, there is no delay, only calibration. Everything arrives when your vibration matches the experience you're asking for. When you start to live this way, reading the world as feedback rather than opposition, a deep peace arises. You stop fighting reality and start conversing with it. You begin to trust timing instead of forcing outcomes. And slowly, you realize that guidance was never far away. It was woven into every moment of your life, waiting for you to listen. To read the signs of the universe is to remember that you are in continuous dialogue with existence. You are both the speaker and the listener, the question and the answer. And once you learn the rhythm of that conversation, you no longer feel lost, because you see that the path was never outside you. It was written into your frequency all along. Chapter 6. The Shadow in Manifestation. Every light casts a shadow, and the brighter your intention burns, the more clearly you will see what stands in its way. This is the paradox of conscious creation. The moment you decide to step into a higher reality, everything within you that does not match that frequency begins to surface. Most people mistake this for failure. They start to affirm abundance, and suddenly, old fears about money arise. They visualize love, and past heartbreak returns in memory. They step toward purpose, and doubt whispers, "Who are you to think you can do this?" But this isn't sabotage. It's purification. The universe never brings you what you want. It brings you what you're ready to hold. And readiness requires wholeness. Your shadow is not your enemy. It's the unintegrated part of your energy. The fragments of fear, shame, and doubt that were pushed aside when you learned it wasn't safe to be fully yourself. When you begin to manifest consciously, those fragments come to the surface not to punish you, but to be reclaimed. The field cannot sustain incoherence. If part of you says, "I am worthy," but another part still believes, "I am not enough," your signal becomes scrambled. The result is mixed manifestations. moments of progress followed by sudden blocks, flow followed by frustration. The universe isn't confused. It's responding to both frequencies at once. So, the work of shadow integration is not to get rid of the fear, but to bring awareness to it. Awareness is the alchemy. What you bring into the light cannot control you. And every time you meet fear with presence instead of resistance, you reclaim a piece of your power. Let's make this practical. When you feel triggered, anxious about money, insecure in love, doubtful about your worth, pause and ask, what is this feeling trying to protect me from? Most fear is protective energy that once served you. The fear of rejection once kept you safe from pain. The fear of failure once kept you from humiliation. But now, those same fears block your expansion because they assume you are still the same person who needed protection. You are not. Once you see that, thank the fear. Literally say, "Thank you for protecting me." Then ask it to update its job. You don't have to guard me anymore. I am safe now. This simple act reprograms your nervous system to align with your current vibration rather than your past conditioning. Another powerful practice is what I call shadow mapping. Write down the top 3 things you desire most. Then, for each one, write what you subconsciously fear might happen if you actually received it. For example, I want financial freedom. If I get rich, people might judge me. I want true love. If I fall in love, I could get hurt again. I want success. If I succeed, I might lose myself. These are your hidden contracts, the unspoken agreements you made with your fear long ago. They're the fine print in your vibration, and as long as they remain unseen, they override your conscious desires. You don't fight these beliefs. You dissolve them through understanding. Because every shadow, when met with compassion, transforms into light. Fear becomes intuition. Shame becomes authenticity. Doubt becomes discernment. The alchemist's gold is made not by escaping darkness, but by embracing it. Remember this: the shadow is not outside your manifestation practice. It is the practice. If you try to manifest over your wounds, you only build castles on sand. But if you integrate the parts of you that once felt powerless, your creations become unshakable. The field responds not to perfection, but to coherence, when every part of you moves in the same direction, without inner conflict. You'll notice, as you do this work, that life itself becomes your mirror. Triggers become teachers. Setbacks become sacred initiations. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you begin to ask, "What in me is being revealed right now?" That shift in perspective is the mark of mastery. Once you've cleared your signal and reclaimed your scattered energy, manifestation becomes natural again. Because your vibration is no longer divided. You speak from the whole self, not from desire and doubt, fighting for control, but from unity. And this brings us to the next stage of your evolution, the art of conscious creation itself. When the fear subsides and the inner static clears, you are ready to speak reality into being. Not as wishful thinking, but as an act of alignment. Not as an affirmation, but as communication with the field that knows you. In the next chapter, we'll explore exactly how to do this, how to merge thought, feeling, and intention into one coherent signal that the universe cannot help but echo. You've faced the shadow. Now, it's time to speak the light. Chapter 7: Speaking Your Reality into Being. Creation begins with a word, but not the kind spoken from your mouth. The word I'm talking about is vibration made conscious. The moment thought, emotion, and belief move in the same direction. That's the true language of the universe. You've learned about the field, the living web that connects all things. You've explored vibration, the signal you send through your emotional state. You've even met your shadow, the static that distorts the transmission. Now it's time to put it all together. Because manifestation is not about asking the universe for something. It's about speaking from the frequency where that thing already exists. Let's begin with the truth most people overlook. You are already speaking your reality into being all the time. Every thought, every story you tell about yourself, every emotion you feed is a command to the field. When you say, "I never get what I want," the universe says, "As you wish." When you say, "Nothing ever works out for me," the field adjusts accordingly, not as punishment, but as perfect resonance. The field doesn't judge. It reflects. It doesn't interpret your words. It responds to the vibration behind them. So if you want to manifest consciously, the first step is to become aware of the language you're already using. Pay attention to the phrases you repeat, out loud and in your mind. Notice how often they come from limitation instead of possibility. The goal is not to force positivity or suppress pain. It's to choose coherence. You can feel doubt and still speak from truth. You can acknowledge challenge and still affirm your power. Alignment doesn't mean pretending. It means remembering who you are while life happens. Now let's talk about energetic speech. There's a reason why ancient traditions revered the spoken word. In nearly every creation myth, the universe begins with sound. The word, the the vibration that called form out of the void. When you speak from consciousness, you recreate that act of creation. Your words shape the quantum potential around you. But the difference between casual talking and true speaking is state. If your words are born from fear, they scatter. If they rise from alignment, they command. Here's how to practice. Before you speak an intention, center yourself. Close your eyes. Breathe until your body softens. Feel the emotion of what you're asking for, not as a fantasy, but as a present reality. Then, from that feeling, speak your intention aloud. I am ready to receive. I walk in abundance. I trust the field to move in my favor. Let the words vibrate through your body. Feel the resonance they create in your chest, your gut, your skin. That resonance is the signal. That's what the field responds to. Don't rush to see results. The moment you speak from coherence, creation begins. Even if you can't see it yet, the energy starts rearranging itself around your new command. Your only job after that is to stay aligned, to keep your inner vibration matching the words you've spoken. When doubt creeps in, return to the feeling, not the words, because it's the frequency that builds reality, not the vocabulary. This is also where inspired action enters the equation. Manifestation isn't about sitting still, waiting for the universe to deliver. It's about tuning your inner compass until the next step reveals itself, and then moving. When your words and vibration are aligned, opportunities feel magnetic. You'll find yourself nudged to call someone, start something, or take a leap. Follow those nudges. That's the field responding. Each small action becomes a bridge between the invisible and the visible. But remember this: speaking your reality into being is not a one-time declaration. It's a daily practice, a way of living in conscious dialogue with the field. You speak, life responds. You adjust, it mirrors. Over time, this dialogue becomes natural, effortless, like breathing. That's when manifestation shifts from effort to flow. Here's a simple ritual to anchor this truth. Each morning, before checking your phone or thinking about yesterday, place a hand over your heart and ask, "What reality do I choose to speak today?" Then say it out loud. It might be simple. I am in harmony with life. I am open to miracles. I am the creator of my experience. Don't analyze it. Just feel the vibration of truth as it leaves your lips. If your words feel alive, if they vibrate through your body, they are aligned. By the time you reach this stage, manifestation stops being about getting and becomes about being. You stop speaking to make things happen and start speaking because you are the happening. You no longer chase outcomes. You shape timelines with your awareness. The external world becomes an echo of your internal frequency. Clear, coherent, powerful. And so, the art of speaking your reality into being is not mystical. It's mastery. It's learning to communicate with the living intelligence that is you, wearing the mask of the universe. Each word, each thought, each emotion is a ripple in that great sea. And when you learn to ripple consciously, reality sings back. Chapter 8. Living in your manifested universe. At some point in this journey, something extraordinary happens. You stop chasing manifestations and realize you are already living inside one. This moment, this breath, this body, this life is not happening to you. It's happening through you. When you finally understand that, the game changes. You no longer try to control reality. You cooperate with it. You no longer bargain with the universe. You converse with it. And you begin to see that every experience, even the painful ones, are not interruptions to your path. They are the path. This is what it means to live in your manifested universe, to walk through life as the conscious pulse of creation itself. To wake up each day knowing that reality is not fixed. It's fluid, alive, responsive, and that every thought, every feeling, every word is a brushstroke painting the next moment of your existence. When you reach this level of awareness, even the ordinary becomes sacred. The way sunlight falls on your skin, the rhythm of your breath, the coincidences that align with mathematical precision. You start to recognize that the universe was never out there. It was always your reflection. And as your vibration shifts, that reflection transforms in kind. Now let's talk about what living in this awareness looks like in practice. It doesn't mean you never feel fear again, or that your life becomes one endless wave of perfection. It means you respond differently. You meet fear with curiosity instead of resistance. You face uncertainty with openness instead of control. You stop labeling experiences as good or bad and instead ask, what is this moment showing me about my vibration? When something doesn't go your way, you don't collapse into doubt. You pause, breathe, and say, the field is adjusting. You understand that what seems like a delay might be alignment in disguise. That life is always orchestrating the highest version of your desire, even if your mind can't yet see the design. This is the power of trust. Not blind faith, but knowing through experience that the universe is precise. To live this way is to enter a new kind of relationship with reality, no longer as a student trying to pass its tests, but as a partner in its creation. You stop asking for signs and start becoming one. You stop seeking guidance and start embodying it. You stop searching for miracles and start realizing you are the miracle. Living in your manifested universe also means expanding your sense of self. At first, you manifest for personal desires, love, success, abundance. But eventually, your creations begin to include others. You start manifesting peace for your community, healing for your planet, expansion for the collective consciousness. Because once you realize you are the field, separation dissolves. There is no my manifestation, only the unfolding of creation through you. And when you manifest from that place, your power multiplies. You become a living example, not by preaching, but by being. People feel your calm. They feel your coherence. They sense the invisible harmony around you, and it activates something within them. You don't need to convince anyone of the laws of the universe. Your presence becomes the evidence. So remember this as you close this journey. You were never learning to manifest. You were remembering how. The field was never outside of you. The guidance was never separate. Every technique, every practice, every moment of struggle was leading you back to the same truth, that you are the consciousness through which the universe experiences itself. To live in your manifested universe is to live awake, to walk through time with awareness, to see creation not as an act of effort, but as a natural expression of who you are. And as you breathe into this understanding, something subtle happens. The boundaries between you and the world begin to dissolve. You start to feel that life is not happening later, after you manifest the next thing. It's happening now, right here, in this eternal moment of becoming. And so, the manual ends where creation begins. In awareness, in alignment, in the knowing that you are both the dream and the dreamer. You are the word made vibration. You are the field becoming form. You are the infinite manifesting itself as you.